Alright, so this is the done model. It's got everything it needs, all the topography elements. So I dropped a camera on the interior, and if you want to see where it is, you got your main floor here, and so this is the part of the building. And you can see this is the one area where the walls let you go all the way through. So if your model doesn't do that yet, just make sure you highlight these walls, and you can see I've got a base offset of 9 feet. And that opens it up and just lets people walk through. So as far as the art, if you don't want to use Photoshop at all, you can use what's known as decals. The other thing I've done is I've added a temporary wall here. This is just a generic 6-inch wall. I decided I wanted it there to hang art on, and I've changed the structure to be clad white, just so that it's not that dark gray. Alright, so I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. First, I'll show you the important part, which is making a decal. So if you come into Insert, you can see this drop down for decal here. And we're going to click Decal Types. You can see I've already made a couple that I've deleted. I'm going to make a brand new one by clicking this icon on the bottom left. And I'm just going to call it New Art. And now I have to find it. So if I go to my source, I know where I saved mine was in my OneDrive. Let's see, the UNSH. Now you can change some things here if you wanted to change the finish to semi-gloss or matte. I'm going to go ahead, I don't like the high gloss, so I'm just going to say semi-gloss. Brightness you could change if you wanted. I'm going to leave most of that the same. I just don't want a ton of reflection, so I'm changing it to semi-gloss. Click OK. And now I'm going to say decal, place decal. And I've got the new art one. You can see I have others I could place. I'm going to stick with new art. And I'm just going to drop it right here. So now if I click on it and scroll in, I can resize it to take up a good portion of that wall. I can maybe move it up a little closer to what viewing height would be, and try and center it a little. Now you have to place these in a 3D view. Alright, so there we go. I've got my thing. And now I can put a frame around it. If you don't want to deal with frame, I suppose you could skip that. But if I come into Architecture, Component, Place a Component, you can see I've already used my drop-down menu. And I've come down to Interior Picture Frame. So now I'm just going to place it right here. You can see it's a little small, so I have to guess what these dimensions are. Unfortunately, I can't just drag, but I can type right here. So if this is 2 feet, and that's roughly a third, I'm going to call this 6 feet wide by 4 feet and see what it gives me. And unfortunately, it offsets it. There's no great way to deal with that. Still a little bit short. I think I'm okay with the height because I can cover part of this. But I have a little hanging over the edge, so let's call this 6 foot. Let's try 6 inches and see what happens. Alright, and now you can see I've fully enclosed it. If I don't like this color, I can change this anytime, and even if I drop others over here, it's not going to change the color of all of them. It's only going to change the color of the specific one. So if I don't want this to be cherry, if I want this to be, let's see what copper would look like. So now I got this darker frame. So play around with that. The other option, which might be easier, is to put the frame in first and then scale the picture. So I'm going to try that over here. Actually, I'll just do it on this wall because it'll be easier to see. So again, I'm going to go to component. I'm going to place a component. I'm going to put it right here. And now I'm just going to say 8 feet by 5 feet, and we'll see if we can make this picture roughly fit that. Apparently I was not editing that. Alright. So 8 feet, 5 feet, click apply. Alright, so now I got this frame. Now let's see how close I can get the picture. So same process. I'm going to say insert, decal, and I'll just use the same piece of art. Place decal. I'm just going to stick it over here. And now I can move it up to this corner. I can try scaling it. And that wasn't horrible. I guessed okay. But if I hadn't, then it would just be a smaller adjustment on your dimensions. But I'll show you. So this one did cherry again. This one's copper. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to edit this thing again. Let's go with, let's see, do we have chrome? No. So I'm going to go with a stainless steel this time. And now you can see we've got this color. So that's the way to do it if you don't want to do everything in Photoshop. Again, if your camera is anywhere where you would see through these doors, just make sure you come in, or the walls, come in, click on each one, and make the base offset 9 feet. All right, that's it. Have a good day.